Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. First off, I want to apologize if you hear the rain. We are having quite a heavy rainstorm right now. I have a window right above my head here, so my apologies if you hear that, but I find it very relaxing and very soothing. So today we're going to be comparing the Benefit Boeing concealer with the new Benefit Boeing concealer. So if you guys would like to see a side-by-side comparison, hear the claims, hear the differences, and see these tested out, then just keep watching. All right, so years and years ago, Benefit launched their Erase Paste, which I have the original one. I thought this was a really good product. It's a little pot product. It had like kind of color correcting and concealing at the same time. And I thought it was really excellent, but then they replaced this with this guy, which is the Benefit Boi-ing Industrial Strength Concealer. So they like repackaged it, reformulated it. The claims on this one is full coverage. It says, you name it, Boeing hides it. This full coverage Stay Put concealer covers everything from dark circles to blemishes and discoloration. So that's the claims on this one, which is their kind of like OG product, just a little bit repackaged, reformulated. And then they came out with this one recently. This is the Boeing Bright On concealer, like right on, I guess. The claims on this one is 3-in-1 brightening. It says, illuminate the under eye all day with this silky smooth waterproof concealer. Has red algae extract to brighten, color correcting pigments to hide dark circles, and a serum like formula to help seal in skin hydration. So it doesn't say what kind of coverage this one is. It doesn't say like, it just says, I don't know. It doesn't say if this is full coverage or not, so we will try the two. It looks like they both have a bit of color correcting. They both want to cover the under eyes, so we will see. This new one is adorable. You know, like erase your dark circles, erase your blemishes. Super cute packaging. And then the industrial strength concealer comes in a little tin like this. So we've got the new packaging and their tried and true product. And it does look like they have a bit of color correcting in them. Like this one, Melon, has a bit of like peach to it. Lychee has a bit of pink to it, so I can definitely see the color correcting aspect. So let's start off with some swatches. Because first I want to swatch the original one. Okay, so this is the original Erase Paste in shade 1. You can see it has a lot of like peach to it right here. Next, let's try the new ones, and I have shade 1 and shade 2. Shade 1 doesn't look like it has much color correcting to it. Okay, right here. And then shade 2. So the original one is the most salmony. These look more like standard concealers. Although this does have a bit of like a, I want to say like a peachy tan undertone to it. So we have the original Erase Paste, which worked really well for me, and then we have light and number 1 and number 2 of the new formula. All right, next let's watch the new ones. These are so cute. Oh my goodness. All right, here is Lychee, which definitely has like a brightening effect. That color reminds me a lot of the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind in Brighten. Then we have Nectarine, which is not really orange at all. It's like a nice beige with maybe like a yellow undertone to it. Now we'll do close-ups in a second. And then we have Melon. So here are the three. We have Lychee, Cantaloupe, and Melon. And then on this side, we had the original Erase Paste, and we had number 1 and number 2 of the newer formula, the Industrial Strength. So very different products. I am very curious to see what will happen. So I will try the original here and the new one over here. So I think I actually want to start with shade 2, where I have the most blue, and then brighten it with shade 1. So let's try that. Here's shade 2. And I'm just going to kind of tap it on to the areas that need it. So let me zoom you in. Okay, so you can see the blue. I definitely have it. So let me tap on a little bit of number 2 here. Okay, so it's helping to color correct a little bit, but it's definitely too dark for my skin tone. So we've got the under eye circles here with nothing, and then with this guy right here. So next I'm gonna go into shade 1 and see if I can just kind of brighten the overall under eye area. All right, so this side has been concealed and I think it did a nice job, but I wonder if it's gonna crease because whenever I use like thick pot-like concealers like these, they always end up creasing on me. Just because it's like a thick product, it's a little too much for my under eye area. But right now it feels okay. And I also went ahead and concealed like my sunspot, my dog bite, acne scarring down here. Like it looks a little bit thick, but like I said, it's a pot concealer, it is thick. So we have before, dark circles, pretty well covered on this side. So let me put the lids on and we'll move on to the next product. All right, so for this one, I'm gonna start with Melon since it has the most orange to kind of color correct. And then I will probably use a combination of these two to brighten. Now I don't know if I should use a sponge or my fingertips. So I'm just gonna use my fingertip and see what happens. Definitely creamier than the first. Obviously it's a liquid, so it's going to spread further and kind of blend in more easily than the first product did. But you also need less. Okay, it did an okay job, but I don't think it corrected as well as the first one. So I'm gonna go in this time and let it dry for a little bit before I start blending it into those really blue areas like right here and right here. Now this one is advertised as an under eye concealer. The other one advertised as covering blemishes as well. All right, so waiting for it to dry a bit did help, but these take a long time to dry because the swatches on my hand were still blendable. They still weren't dry either. So just keep that in mind. So I think I'm gonna move on to the yellow to kind of brighten. So apparently my camera cut out at some point, so I'm not sure when it cut out, but I went ahead and applied a little bit of the second shade, the Nectarine, and blended it out with a sponge. And I still see a bit of shadow, so now I'm gonna go in with Lychee, that kind of pinky tone one, and see if I can just brighten. All right, so it works to conceal and brighten, but I feel like this one covered better. Like you can just see when I tilt my head down, this one looks much more neutralized than this one. You can still see the blue peeking through. I wonder if that's because I didn't have a deep enough shade to really color correct. Hold the phone. Okay, so I did have one shade darker, which I didn't think I would need. This one is called Peach, which looks just so dark to me. Perhaps that's what I need to color correct the blue? I don't know. Like that seems so much darker than this one. All right, let me wipe this off and we'll try again using the darkest shade, see if that color corrects any better. I still don't feel like this is the right shade. It's too yellow. But we will keep going. And then I'm using Nectarine on the outer portion and Lychee on the inner portion to brighten. So I'm not convinced that the darkest shade Peach really did anything different. It wasn't the right tone for me. I really need like more of a salmony color to counteract my under eye circles, but over here you can see that there's already a good bit of creasing happening under my eyes. You can see it's kind of like sinking in. Same thing over here. So like applying 4 layers of concealer is gonna do that. On this side, I only had 2 though. So, do I think one worked better over the other? I think that the original Boeing Industrial Strength Concealer concealed the blue and color corrected the blue a lot better than the creamy ones. But if these are meant to mostly brighten, then they did that. It says illuminate, brighten, hide dark circles, and seal in hydration. So it didn't fully hide the dark circles, but I feel like if it's meant to be like a brightening, hydrating thing, then it does what it says it's gonna do. I just don't know which side is going to wear the best, so we will see what happens during the day. But as of right now, I don't know, I feel like they have different purposes. So stay tuned. Okay, so it's been about 3 hours since I applied the concealer. This side had the cream, the Bright On, and this one had the Industrial Strength Pot Concealer. And I do think that it's creasing a bit more, but it is a heavier material than this one. But they still look pretty natural on both sides. So stay tuned. Okay guys, so I've been trying both of these Benefit concealers for about 3 weeks now. And I have to say that I really like the color correcting ability of the pot concealer, the industrial strength one that comes in this silver kind of tin. I think that works really well at canceling out the blue right here. You can kind of see it as I tilt my head down. But I don't think that I will be using the Bright On one very often just because it doesn't have the coverage that I need, and I always have to set my concealer. So even though it says it's a hydrating product and a brightening product, I still have to set it down. So it kind of defeats the point of it being like a brightening, hydrating product when I have to put something on top of it. So of the two, I definitely see myself using the industrial strength one that has the stronger color correcting properties than the other one. So for me, I would say that that one wins, but it just depends on what you're looking for out of a concealer. Both good products, both very different uses and different purposes and different appeal. So those are my final thoughts. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys.